Eternal values. Vedas. Reality is one. The wise speak of it in many ways. Move together, speak together. Know your minds to be one. Let your aspirations be the same. Let your hearts be the same. Let your minds be the same, so that you may be good of good accord. Let a man think well of wealth and strive to win it along the path of that is moral law, and by worship. And let him also take counsel with his spirit and grasp with his mind still greater ability. May we follow the path of goodness as the sun and the moon follow their path. May good thoughts come to us from every side, pure, unobstructed, overflowing. May we with our ears hear what is good and with our eyes see what is good. By self-dedication, one obtains consecration. By consecration, one obtains grace. By grace, one obtains faith, and faith is truth obtained. Rig Veda. He who is wearied of such walking as a grandeur, thus we have heard, the best man, if he sits idle in the society of men, becomes a sinner. Indra surely is the friend of him who keeps moving. Therefore, move on and on. The feet of the wanderer are like the flowers in full blossom. His soul is growing and reaping the fruit, and all his sins are destroyed to the ground by his fatigues in wandering. Therefore, wander. The fortune of him who is sits. It rises when he rises. It sleeps when he sleeps. It moves when he moves. Therefore, move forward. The Kali is lying, the Dwapara is sitting, the Treta is standing, and the Krita or Satya is to commence walking. Therefore, move on, move on. Aitreya Brahmana. Da. These letters signify that you must control, give and be kind. These three things are to be learnt: self-control, munificence, and compassion. Truth alone wins, and not untruth. Mundaka Upanishad. Speak the truth. Practice righteousness. Make no mistake about study. There should be no inadvertence about truth. There should be no deviation from righteous activity. Do not be careless about study. Let your mother be a goddess unto you. Let your father be a god unto you. Let your teacher be a god unto you. Let your guest be a god unto you. Those acts that are irreproachable alone are to be performed, and not those that are to their contrary. Those actions of ours that are commendable are to be followed by you, not the others. The offering to anybody should be with honor. The offering should not be with dishonor. The offering should be according to one's prosperity. The offering should be with humility. The offering should be with respectful fear. The offering should be with friendly modesty. Taittiriya Upanishad. The preferable is different indeed, and so indeed is the pleasurable different. These two serving divergent purposes, that is, as they do, bind men. Good befalls him who accepts the preferable among these two. He who selects the pleasurable falls from the true end. The preferable and the pleasurable approach mankind. The man of intelligence, having considered them, separates the two. The intelligent one selects the preferable instead of the pleasurable. The non-intelligent one selects the pleasurable for the sake of growth and the protection of the body, material prosperity, and so on. Not with the wealth is man to be satisfied. Arise, awake, having attained to the great ones, understand the path. Sharp as a razor's edge is the path, hard to cross and difficulty to tread. So say the seers. Katha Upanishad. He who sees all beings in his very self and himself in all beings. Control, feel any hatred for anyone by virtue of that realization. Isha Upanishad. Ramayana. Enthusiasm leads to success. Enthusiasm is happiness. Enthusiasm is always the driving force to all actions. Thoughtlessness and Indiscreet actions result in failure and are often fraught with danger. Mahabharata. Absence of malice, straightforwardness, purity, contentment, sweetness of speech, self control, truthfulness, and steadiness. These the weak never possess. You see the faults of others even if they are as small as a grain of mustard, but you do not want to see your own faults even if they are as big as the bilwa fruit. Do not do to others what is disagreeable to yourself. This is virtue. Do not react evil with evil. Abstention from injury as regards all creatures in thought, word, and deed, kindness, and gift are the eternal duties of those who are good. Before one's acts are completed, death drags one away. One should therefore commence to practice virtue while one is still young, for life is uncertain. Not given to wrath, truthful, not hurting any creatures, not slandering, following the right conduct, thereby one lives long. Miscellaneous sources. Do not withhold your compassion from those who ask for it. Does not the holy moon shine equally on the leper and on the Lord? Hitopadesa. There is no virtue higher than truth. There is no sin greater than falsehood. Therefore, should man seek protection under truth with all his soul. Mahanirvana Tantra. Fire puts an end to cold. Emeralds destroy poison. Pain is brought to not by correct judgment. Evil desire annihilates everything. Source unknown. Limitless are the scriptures. Since short is life and obstacles are numerous, therefore what is best should be performed, just as the swan extracts milk mixed with water. Panchatantra. I do not want any kingdom nor heavenly pleasure, nor even escape from rebirth, but I do want extinction of the affliction of all being tormented by the miseries of life. Source unknown. A self possessed man must speak true, soft, palatable, and beneficial words. He must always avoid self bragging and censuring others. Source unknown. Desire cannot be pacified by the enjoyment of the objects of desire. On the other hand, it goes on increasing still more like the fire through the oblations of clarified butter. Even the entire produce of earth, the corns, gold, animals, and women are not satisfied. To quench the desire of a single man, therefore, taking this into view, one should give up all desires. Vishnu Purana, Manu Samhita. Forbearance, endurance, self control, non stealing, that is, non acceptance of things not one's own, purity, control of the senses, intelligence, learning, absence of anger, and adherence to truth. These are the 10 characteristics of virtue, that is, Dharma. Manu Samhita. The gods were not content only by getting the most precious gems, nor were they stricken with fear by the fearful poison during the churning of the ocean. They did not desist from the act of churning until they got the immortal nectar. Similarly, the self composed men do not cease from their effort until they get hold of the desired objective. Source unknown. Where all are leaders and all consider themselves learned and where all want to attain celebrity, that group is sure to go down. Source unknown. Ramachandra. You should give up pride, egoism, wickedness, and crookedness. Neither should you find fault with anyone. Control your mind, speech, and body. Never be perturbed. Do not be slack in good actions even for a single day. Do not give up truth. Do not be overjoyed if you get a fortune. Neither should you be dejected if you lose it. Your mind should be well balanced. Krishna. O Partha, yield not to unmanliness. This does not befit you. O scorcher of foes, arise giving up the petty weakness of the heart. Treating happiness and sorrow, gain and loss, and conquest and defeat with equanimity, engage in battle, thus you will not incur sin. Your right is for action alone, never for the results. Do not become the agent of the results of action. May you not have any inclination for inaction. The unholy person who look for themselves incurs sin. O son of Kunti, knowledge is covered by this eternal enemy of the wise, in the form of desire, which is an insatiable fire. The organs, mind, and the intellect are said to be its abode. This one diversely deludes the embodied being by veiling knowledge with the help of these. Therefore, O scion of Bharata dynasty, after first controlling the organs, renounce this one which is sinful and a destroyer of learning the wisdom. One should save oneself by oneself. One should not lower oneself. For oneself is verily one's own friend. Oneself is verily one's own enemy. This door of hell, which is destroyer of the soul, is of three kinds: passion, anger, and also greed. Therefore, one should forsake these three.